Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wait, Don't Poke Me, the Diabetes Game Show. We know there are a lot of serious topics at this conference. You are going to learn a lot at this conference. You're probably not going to learn very much during this session. However, we are just here to kind of lighten things up, have some fun, have you meet some great people contributing some terrific things to the diabetes community, and hopefully some laughs as well. Our panel today is part of the Mental Health Plus Diabetes Conference, and it is brought to you by Medtronic. Thank you so much to Medtronic for sponsoring this. To learn more about their wide array of diabetes management products, visit their booth in the exhibit hall. And I'm Stacey Sims. I'm the host of Diabetes Connections, a podcast for and about people with diabetes with a focus on those who use insulin. I am also the author of The World's Worst Diabetes Mom, and the second book is coming out this fall, so I'm really excited about that. And today's panel will feature trivia, Bluff the Listener, limericks, and all sorts of silly stuff. So let's go ahead and bring in our panelists. I am so glad to have you all here. Taylor, Danielle, Rob, and Mark, thanks for joining me. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Let's just go around and talk a little bit about who you are and, how you are a part of the diabetes community. And Taylor, Danielle, let me start with you. Tell me about I love all these signs behind you. I need to relax a little bit.
It's my inspiration corner when I need a good thing. So hi, everybody. I'm Taylor Danielle. I am the host of Healing in Hindsight. It is a podcast surrounding millennials who live with any type of diabetes and going through our life transitions. Texas native, born and raised. I have to say go Cowboys for my dad. Do I back them completely? I just ask every year on if we're going to do okay, and then I leave it there. So, happy to be here.
Excellent. And what is your connection to the diabetes community?
Aside from the show, I live with type 2.
Excellent. Rob Howe, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Talk about what you're up to these days in your connection.
Always a pleasure to be here, Stacey. Thank you so much for having me. My connection to the diabetes community, I've lived with type 1 for 17 years. You can probably hear my pump. I have the low battery alarm going off in the background just to give you guys the full diabetes experience today. And most famously, I was the first person with type 1 diabetes to play for the Washington Generals against the Harlem Globetrotters. So in my retired days, I founded Diabetics Doing Things, which is another diabetes podcast, and kind of evolved over the last couple of years into a diabetes media company. And I also run an ad agency in my spare time. When I'm not running an agency or advocating for people with diabetes, I live with my wife in Dallas, Texas. And, if you sound like I'm a tired person, full-time entrepreneur on 2 companies and living with a chronic illness, you are right. I'm tired. I could probably use a nap.
You are busy. And Mark, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me a little bit about you.
Thanks, Stacey. Well, I'm Mark Heyman. I'm a diabetes psychologist, and I'm the CEO of the Center for Diabetes and Mental Health here in San Diego, where we see patients. And we also provide people with diabetes with all kinds of other resources, including Diabetes Psychologist Podcast, which I host every Thursday. New shows are out. I just published a book called Diabetes Sucks, and You Can Handle It. It's right here.
Yeah, congratulations. That's great.
And I've been living with type 1 diabetes for 23 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to have you all here. This is really going to be fun and silly. And we start off with trivia. I am going to be keeping score over here. But the way this works is that I do the best I can because we're running everything. But we try to have a good time. Yeah. Why not? Right. This is our game show and I make the rules. So whatever I say goes.
All right. So the rules work in my favor.
So Stacey, you got my check in the mail, didn't you?
Exactly. All right. Well, we are going to start out with trivia. Each panelist will have 5 questions to answer. I pulled these at random in terms of who starts and who goes for each of these sections. So Rob, you are actually up first, if that's okay. I saw you muted yourself. Are you okay to go? All right, you got to unmute though, dude. All right.
I just did the quick AA battery change.
Nice.
On my Medtronic pump. So just a quick. Otherwise, the beeps are going to get in the way of my trivia question. We can't.
Actually, here's a trivia question for all 3 of you. If you use an insulin pump or any electronics, because back in the day, I remember changing out the batteries of my son's meter as well. Where's the weirdest place you've ever done a battery change or a pump charge? Do you have it? And I'll go first because I don't know. I don't think any of you are quite as old as I am, but back in the olden days when you had the cigarette lighter charger in the cars, and you could plug, you had to like have an adapter and things like that. I will never forget realizing that we could actually plug my son's insulin pump into one of those and charge it. He just likes to, when he's running low, he'll just put it all in his pockets. I mean, boys have pockets that are enormous, and he'll have a cell phone, a charger, a portable thing, and a pump.
So I'll go first, I guess, since I just did mine. This one would be a top 5 nominee, I think, on a live diabetes game show.
Yeah, there you go, during a game show.
However, so I think it was my freshman year of college, or actually, no, it wouldn't have been my freshman year. It was my junior year of college. We had just lost a rivalry game in our conference, and we were about to drive back, like bus back. So we had the whole team on the bus, and my battery died. I didn't have my backup, so I had to like go up to the front, and my coach was like notoriously old school and very angry after losses. So I had to be like, hey coach, like, can everybody stop the bus and I run into 7-Eleven real quick and get an insulin pump battery? And he let me. It was no big deal, but I had to like really do the math on like how long it would be for me to get home. Would it be better for me to just like avoid it? But I did it. I went in there and did the hard thing.
And a big gulp.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean,
anybody else? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
I have no say in this. I do not use insulin, so this is all more entertainment for me.
We'll have another discussion about podcasting and weird stuff we've had to do for our technology.
I can tell you the weirdest place that my pump has died.
Yeah.
But not that it's not that we're out of battery. So the first time I ever met my in-law, the second time I met my in-laws, it was at my brother-in-law's wedding. I'm in Hawaii, and I decided to jump in the pool with my pump on in Hawaii.
Been there.
And as luck would have it, the pump didn't work after that. The other problem was I didn't have any backup syringes. So I had to figure out, or actually, and I'm embarrassed to say this because this is long before my days in the diabetes world, I didn't have any backup long-acting insulin. So I had to spend the rest of the trip. I found syringes. I had to spend the rest of the trip giving myself my own basal insulin every hour, waking up in the middle of the night to, a unit at a time. And my in-laws must have thought that I was not a good person to get married to their daughter. We were engaged at the time. So, man, not a fun experience. Luckily, they think better of me now.
I think you're very resilient and resourceful.
Right.
I like those kinds of stories. They make me feel better.
I actually thought of a story though that just made me think of. I had my CGM fall off in the middle of a bar in New Orleans on a birthday trip because of the humidity, and that was fun because I didn't notice it until I looked on the ground and I saw this little white thing, and I looked at my partner. I'm like, my CGM just fell off and my meter is back at the hotel. And everybody was trying to show like, what are you picking up, like a quarter? And I pulled up and I'm like, you don't want to touch this. You probably shouldn't touch this. This is gross. So that was fun. We had just gotten there and fell off in the middle of a bar. That was fun.
Yep. See, all right. See, resourceful people we've got on this panel. All right. Let us get into our trivia. And again, Rob, we are starting with you. All right. A South Korean company is seeking approval for the commercial rollout of its non-invasive glucose monitoring device called D-Salife. D-Salife. How does it measure glucose? Is it through a nasal saline rinse, through saliva, or through salt on the skin? D-Salife.
I'm gonna guess saliva, just because of the salt, the naming. I don't know. That's my logic at least. I'm gonna guess saliva.
Well, it is saliva. I tried to throw you off there with the saline and the salt, but you got it. All right. Earlier this year, it sounds disgusting, but you know what? If it could work, why not? Right? It'd be great. Like little, I don't know. Let's move on. Earlier this year, a new Doctors Without Borders study showed something interesting about insulin. What did they find? Did they find it can be stored at a higher temperature than first thought for 1 month? Did they find once opened, it can be stored at room temperature for 18 months, or that it can be stored at a much lower temperature than it's labeled for?
Oh, I'm just gonna wishful think and guess that it can be stored at a higher temperature than originally thought.
That is absolutely correct. They found it can be stored up to 99 degrees for 1 month, which is great news for a lot of people around the world.
I was going to say that's great news.
Yeah, really, really good. And for forgetful kids at summer camp. Not that I
Been
have
there.
one of those. The new Pixar movie Turning Red features 2 background characters with diabetes technology. We've all heard a lot about that. What was the connection in the movie that made this happen? Was it that 2 of the voice actors lived with type 1, that the main character, May, was originally supposed to have diabetes, or that a production supervisor on the movie lives with type 1?
I believe it's C. A production supervisor lives with type 1.
That is correct. Susan Fong, she's been at Pixar for about 20 years, and she is the person who asked them to add the insulin pump.
How much fun was that? And I also loved your episode
Oh,
chronicling it. It was very good.
thank you. I thought it was so much fun to see, and I love talking to Susan. She's just one of these people who does not really want the spotlight, but we forced her to be in it to tell us her story.
And I thought it was funny that the people were in the movie had their pumps on in the bathroom. Like that's what you saw the most, I think, walking out of the stall, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was the girl whose name is Stacy. That's the character's name, which I claim credit for, but of course that's nothing to do with me. But yeah, not only that, but they kind of had to fudge it because their original idea was to have a CGM on her arm. But then the movie takes place in something like 2001 or 2002 before it was widely adopted. So if you look, if you freeze frame it like a lot of us did, and you look, it's kind of a mishmash between an insulin pump infusion set and a CGM.
But were arm sites even a thing in 2001?
Arm sites?
I mean,
I remember seeing
like in 2001, people were like,
no, it was mostly on the waist. And I do remember seeing arm sights on kids when I first started going to Friends for Life at other conferences in like 2007, and just thinking my kid would never do that. And my kid has never done that. Maybe you guys could talk to my kid. The world's okayest diabetic. All right. Okay, here's another movie question for you, Rob. It's called T1D, the movie. And it got a lot of attention from outside the diabetes community. This was a Kickstarter campaign earlier this year to fund a short movie where the main character lives with type 1. Which fandom helped amplify this? Was it Star Trek, Harry Potter, or Twilight?
Ooh.
It was Star Trek, because Noah, the type 1 behind it, is in Star Trek.
Isn't that wild?
A real live Trekkie.
Yeah, so it was amazing. They were so great and they amplified it. And, he hit his goal. So that movie will be coming out. I don't know exactly when, but he's going to come back on. I'm sure we will have podcasts, which I think is great. So we can fight over who gets Noah to talk about his movie. All right. And your last question, Rob. I don't want to say anything, guys. He's 4 for 4.
I'm not shook, but
this is tough. This is tough. Maybe I give you easy questions. All right. Ooh, all right. And I know this is a subject near and dear to your heart, Rob. In season 2 of the Netflix show, The Babysitter's Club, you are definitely the demographic for this show. Stacy, another Stacy in the media with diabetes, has switched to an Omnipod, and she is set to speak at a big diabetes event. However, she has a low blood sugar. She's really upset, but her doctor tells her it's okay not to be perfect. It's a great episode. Where does the low take place? Is it at the big ballet recital, the big swim party, or the big fashion show?
Oh, I'm going to guess the big fashion show.
You are correct.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
It was
Look at
the
that.
big
5 for 5.
fashion show. I'm so mad
Stacey,
they canceled that
I'll
show.
mail that check directly to you after.
Nice.
The
I'm really mad they canceled that Netflix show. That was a great show. And I like that they were representing. All right. So now we are going on for you, Taylor. We've got your 5 questions.
Shoot.
No
All right,
pressure.
here we go. I think these are tougher. I should just put them in a hat and picked them out. We'll see. Okay. What was the original name for Tandem's tiny tubed pump? It is now called Mobi, and it's planned for FDA submission later this year. Was it the T Active, the T Sport, or the T Go?
I feel like my gut is saying T Active.
It was the T Sport.
Ugh.
I know, sorry. I know, I'm looking at these now. It's like, ooh. All right. Yeah, the T Sport was what we called it. I don't think their marketing department ever called it that. It was kind of the in-house version of what is now the Mobi. Recently, diabetes parents in New York City won a big lawsuit covering what part of school? Was it dodgeball, bathroom breaks, or field trips?
Oh, it's got to be bathroom breaks.
It's field trips.
Dang.
I know. Yeah, this was really interesting. And in New York City, in the school district, they have a law that nurses must go on field trips, on every field trip. to help with any kind of conditions. But they didn't have enough staffing, or there was some issues. They were breaking their own rules, but they were doing it anyway. So they lost a lawsuit. It was really significant. We will follow up on that. Okay.
Yeah, that actually makes sense now I think about it.
All right. You might get this one. I don't know. Do you play any video games?
I do. I stream it, actually.
Nice. All right. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Well, we'll see. Insulet created a big experience on a Nintendo game full of references to diabetes charities, where you can outfit your character with Omnipod tech. What is the actual game? Is it Mario Super Smash Brothers? Is it Animal Crossing? Or is it The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
Animal Crossing.
It is Animal Crossing. Excellent.
Special shout out to Breath of the Wild, though, like the best game of all time.
I'm still playing through it. I've never played a Zelda game, and my partner got me a Switch for Christmas. So Stardew Valley has my heart right now, though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
That is so great. Okay, this year, this is a silly one. This year made official the merger of two legends, Rufus the bear with diabetes, who also, by the way, turns 25 this year, and his more modern counterpart. Rufus is JDRF, and the other bear was developed by a company called Sproutel for Beyond Type 1. What is the other more modern bear? What is his name? And they don't refer to him anymore, but what was his name? Is it Jerry the bear, Banting the bear, or Basil the bear?
Basil.
It's Jerry.
Man.
I know. It's Jerry the bear.
These
I remember
were harder, Stacey.
Yeah,
Oh, they are harder, right? Although I don't know, the big fashion show was kind of a guess. But yeah, when JDRF and Beyond Type 1 announced their partnership, I kind of jokingly asked them a couple of years ago, like, what's going to happen to the bears? And they were like, oh no, there's only going to be one bear. And there is only one bear now, but it's like a very modern Rufus. So still very
I'm proud
cute.
I got the video game one.
Yeah. All right. This is another weird one. This is a random one, I think. Okay. There's a new movie with a superhero who lives with type 1 coming out this summer. It's called Gum Shi, the Type 1 Protector. The main character, Justice Johnson, has diabetes, but it is not the cause of her superpower. It's not related to her superpower. That comes from what? The dog that follows her everywhere, the bubble gum she's always chewing, or sneakers she found at school. Before you answer, her name is Gumshi.
I was going to say, is it gum? Like, I feel like every time it was something that made a reference, it was actually wrong.
I feel like I was reading the question, gave that one away. All right. You got 2 out of 5. Those were definitely harder. Sorry about that. Mark, brace yourself. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What was the original name Insulet used to refer to what is now Omnipod 5? Is it Horizon, Vista, or Summit?
Horizon.
It was Horizon. Okay. It's very early on here, but there's a new closed loop system that knows when you are eating. It is being tested, so you don't have to bolus for meals at all. It's a small trial in adolescents and young adults. What is the name they are using for it right now? Is it Rocket AP, Vulcan AP, or Teenager AP for artificial pancreas?
I'm going to say Vulcan.
I wish it was Vulcan. It is
Me
Rocket.
too.
They should get creative with things. Rob, tell your people at Medtronic to stop using numbers and start using Star Trek terminology.
Right.
I'll pass it up the chain.
You have to live long and prosper. What's happening?
That's
here?
right. All right, Mark, last year, this group banned the use of CGM for their sport unless you actually have diabetes because of the trend of a lot of athletes wearing CGM. What sport was it? Ironman triathlon, the UCI World Tour, that's cycling, or the Mud Run organization?
I'm going to say Ironman.
Actually, it was cycling.
Really?
The UCI World Tour banned it. Ironman is sponsored by one of these companies. I can't remember which one, if it's Super Sapiens or one of the other ones, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So it's required for them and banned for the.
It's not required for a Mud Run, but it's for Ironman, but it's a sponsor of the event. But yeah, I think it might be required one of these days. You never know, or encouraged. I have opinions, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
Endurance athlete Sebastian Sasseville lives with type 1 and is getting ready to race across America. He's going to cycle across the country starting June 14th. What other athletic feats has Sasseville accomplished? Climbed Mount Everest, ran across Canada, completed a grueling race across the Sahara.
I'm going to say you ran across Canada.
This is a trick question. He did all 3. Rob knew. Yeah. Is that ridiculous? And it's like, I can't remember what the Sahara race is. It's a French name, right?
It's a marathon through the Gobi Desert, I believe, or through the Sahara, or rather.
It's ridiculous. You can carry like a backpack, and then they throw you in the desert.
Your shoes
You didn't
melt.
give me the option for all three. You said I had to choose one.
You got it right. We'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. That was a trick question. You got it right.
I actually heard Sebastian speak one time, and he was talking about training for that event, and he was saying that he had like sand in his backyard, and he would just go out and like in this 10-foot stretch of sand, just like try to get used to running through the sand, like over and over and over, so his feet wouldn't blister. It was like just incredible. His level of preparation is insane.
We are all programmed very differently.
Yeah,
he's the one. He's probably the one who sponsored the study for the insulin being
being too hot.
So when he was in the Sahara, it could actually work.
They should use him as the guinea pig. It's very rare. If it can handle Sebastian's like demands, the rest of us are in good shape.
That's actually a really good point. All right, we've got one more for you, Mark, and this is another athletic one. Canadian skier Hannah Schmidt was diagnosed with type 1 at age 12. She made her Olympic debut this year in ski cross. What makes ski cross unique among ski events? Is it that there are 4 skiers on the hill at the same time with obstacles? Is it that there are obstacles on the course that move unpredictably? Or is it that spectators are allowed on the hill with skiers as long as they don't hold poles or any other objects?
I'm going to say the first one.
It is. That was ridiculous. It is. There are 4 skiers on the hill at a time with obstacles.
I kind of wanted the obstacles to move one.
Wouldn't that be great if they just
that'd be really interesting. I'd watch that.
All right. So right now, Rob has 5, Mark has 3, Taylor has 2, but there's a lot more to go. And we are going to bring in our contestant in just a moment as I explain what we're doing here. This is our Bluff the Listener section where you have to guess which of our panelists is telling the truth with some ridiculous stories. So let us bring in our contestant. He has volunteered to be part of the show from our Diabetes Connections Facebook group. And Brian, thanks so much for being here.
Not a problem. It's great being here. Thank you for having me, and hopefully I can figure out who's lying to me.
Brian, before we jump in, why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit and your connection to the diabetes community?
Well, my name is Brian, obviously. It's funny because I was listening to all these things and I thought I wouldn't be the person who has the oldest diabetes in the room, but I actually have Mark beat by, I think, 2 or 3 years. I've had diabetes for 26 years. I've been somewhat active with my local JDRF group with their Ride to Cure Diabetes, as well as met you years ago at Friends for Life, the CWD, and I've been helping out there these past 2 years.
Excellent.
Where are you from, Brian?
Oh, New Jersey.
Excellent. Yeah, we met at Friends for Life, and we still are friends, though, which is good. But I appreciate you jumping in here to be our contestant today. So let me explain the rules real quick, and then we'll kind of hide a few. I don't know. Gosh, I feel like I'm in the production room here, in the control room. Okay, so Bluff the Listener is very simple. Every year we choose a new topic and then we make up a bunch of silly stories. So the topic this year is broadcast interference. We have 3 tales of professional athletes with type 1 diabetes who all encountered an obstacle caused by broadcast equipment. Only one of these stories really happened. So Brian is going to listen to the stories and tell us which one is true. And let me tell you, I worked in broadcasting for many years. There are so many mistakes that happen that you never see at home. And Rob probably knows that there's a lot of stuff that happens during professional sports that either you don't see at home or you do and you're not quite sure about. So these are some kooky stories, but one of them is true. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with Taylor. So let me remove Mark and Rob. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. And Taylor, are you all set? You've got your story ready to go for Brian?
I've got it.
All right. Let us know what is going on with broadcast interference.
All right, Brian. So golfer JJ Spaun got his first PGA Tour win this year, despite some production equipment getting in the way. Spaun lives with type 1, but was first misdiagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2018. He started exercising and losing weight, but just felt worse. Finally, he saw a specialist and got the correct diagnosis after almost 3 years. Now, while playing in the Valero Texas Open in April, Spaun hit an NBC microphone that was placed near the green, deflecting his ball down the side of a hill. Forced to play where it landed, he took a blind shot, meaning he couldn't see where the hole was from where he stood. He then chipped it right in for a birdie. That shot on the 9th hole set the table for Spawn to grab the lead of the tournament 2 holes later and hold on to win. He earned $1.5 million and a place at the Masters.
All right. So our first story of broadcast interference is on the golf course and a bad bounce, which turned into a pretty good bounce for JJ Spawn. All right, Taylor, thank you so much. I'm going to go to Rob next. So let's go ahead and we'll kick Mark and Taylor out of here. Give them a break for a minute. Rob, tell us your tale of broadcast interference.
All right, Brian, it's just us now. NFL player Elliott Fry was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 7, and he's been playing football almost as long. He spent last season in the NFL off and on with the Atlanta Falcons as a sort of COVID insurance backup player. Breaking into the NFL as a kicker can be really difficult. And despite a distracting on-field production mishap with the Falcons, Fry has been snapped up this year and has a contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. So here's what happened. In the fall of 2021, the on-field 1st and 10 technology the NFL uses malfunctioned. It's supposed to show a line of viewers at home that isn't actually on the field, and this marks the line of scrimmage, shows the yardage to first down, or display the place kicker's field goal range. And it was that last one that malfunctioned for Elliott, causing a giant yellow glowing line to show up on the field and on TVs at home during the play. Fry made the field goal, and the play was stopped while the production crew fixed the problem. So he did the hard thing. He made the field goal, which is like obviously like the most important.
Awesome. All right. That is Rob's story of broadcast interference. We will take him out and add Mark back in. And Mark, can you tell us your story, your professional athlete, something got in the way?
Yes. Well, Lauren Cox was diagnosed with diabetes when she was 7 years old, and she plays for the LA Sparks in the WNBA. And she led the Baylor Lady Bears to a college championship in 2019. It was during the run-up to this championship that she encountered some really challenging production interference. So during their Elite Eight game against the Iowa Hawkeyes, Lauren Cox passed the ball to a teammate close to the basket. However, an over-enthusiastic NBC camera operator leaned a little bit too far into the court, and he interfered with the pass. Amazingly, the ball bounced off the top of the camera and into the net. And there's actually a rule for this type of on-court interference, resulting that the basket does count. The Bears went on to win the game and later the national championship.
All right. So those are your choices, Brian. We've got the errant shot or the errant cameraman that helped Lauren Cox make the basket. We've got the wacky technology that showed up on the football field when Elliott Fry was kicking. And we've got the misplaced microphone on the golf course for JJ Spawn. The stories are only one of the stories is real. All the athletes are real. We didn't make that part up. These all are professional athletes who live with type 1. Any idea which one is the real story?
I wish I could say that I am 100% certain on this. I have a feeling that Rob's is not true. That's what my gut is telling me. I kind of think I'm going to go with the first one with golf because I feel like that seems like it's the most logical and most likely to happen versus, the errant ball off of a basketball camera.
And you are correct. Yay! Nice job. Very nice. I think the as I'm listening to all of these, we probably would have heard, like it would have transcended sports, right? It would have been on the news if a giant yellow line showed up on the football field.
That's the one that I wish happened.
What's that, Rob?
I said I was trying to sell it, but you
did a great job. You all,
okay.
I have to say, and I hope the other previous panelists aren't listening because I've done this kind of game show for a long time. You guys had the best reads. It's hard to sell those stories. You were wonderful. So, Brian, thank you so much. You have won a $25 gift certificate to Amazon. We appreciate that. And we are so happy that you were able to join us. Thanks for playing this ridiculous game. You can stick around backstage if you want and listen to our next section or head for the hills, whatever suits your schedule best. And I will see you, fingers crossed, in just a couple of months at the Friends for Life conference.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all for doing this.
Thanks, Brian. See you soon. All right. Excellent. Way to go. You really sold that. I thought that was fabulous. And again, if you are watching this session and you're not familiar, there are so many professional athletes who live with type 1. Some of them, like Elliott Fry, we don't live that far from South Carolina. He's been involved with JDR for years and years. Some of them are incredibly outspoken. Some of them just want to live their lives and, play their sport with type 1 or type 2, and that's cool too. But if you are at all interested, Google up some of that stuff and You won't find ridiculous stories like I made up, but
I gotta say, my story, I was like, wow. After doing putt-putt on a double date with some friends a couple weeks ago, I'm like, we saw some miracles happen. So I'm like, I can see it.
Well, I'm trying to get, and maybe any of you might get him too. I'd really like to talk to JJ Spawn because his story of being misdiagnosed is so common, right? I mean, to have almost 3 years being told he had type 2 and trying to be a professional athlete, I can't imagine how hard. I mean, Rob, you play golf. I play golf. It's not like the most athletic, but you got to focus. You got to aim. You got to do a lot.
Well, and I think JJ, even though he is a professional athlete and a professional golfer, he suffers from some of the same stigma that many other folks of color who are, maybe a little bit overweight suffer from at face value. So really important stuff. Got to get him on the show.
I know, right? I think he'd be a wonderful, wonderful person to talk to. Okay, we have one more section left, and this is one of the silliest. I have NPR, when they do Wait, Don't Tell Me, they call this listener limericks. But these are panelist limericks because I'm going to ask you, I'll go around and I'll ask one of you to kind of fill in the blank at the end here. And this is for double the points at the end. Okay. So it's for 2, but it's for double the points. And we'll go backwards from trivia. So Mark, we will start with you first.
Okay.
And our subject, and we kind of touched on this already, but our subject is gaming. Video games with diabetes themes or connections. So remember, these are limericks. You're just looking for the rhyme. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Please forgive me in advance. These are pretty horrible. All right. Mark, this is for you. Designing an avatar really rocks. Clothes, hat, shoes, even socks. A CGM on your arm, Night Scout shirt, that's the charm. There's diabetes stuff to show on rocks, socks. It's a gaming system.
PS5. I don't game.
I think, Rob, did you know it?
Is it Roblox?
It's Xbox.
I was like, I'm literally staring at my Xbox right now.
Xbox is the system, right? Not Roblox.
Yeah. So this is actually from a couple of years ago. When you can create an avatar, I kind of like on the Wii, years ago, or for those of us whose children played that. I'm not my gamer days are from the Atari 2600, but you can design, thanks to Scott Hanselman, who's very, very big in the diabetes community and has been around for a long time doing things like this. He designed a bunch of stuff you could put on your character. So as Xbox.
Avatar is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. This one's a little bit more current. All right, Rob, this is for you. That Omnipod isn't a glitch. Your character's part of a niche. Bolus Beach, A1C. Grab a pumped up tea. It's part of a game on the
Switch.
Yes. And that's what we had actually mentioned earlier. We were talking about Animal Crossing. You can play this Omnipod Island. And A1C is A1CSEA. There's a lot of puns that they put in there, which are really
It's so fun. And there's actually a know I want to keep things moving. There's a game to give is like a new thing that JRF is doing to help raise money for diabetes. So gaming coming through. I'm going to actually work with them in June on something like that. So shout out to all my Nintendo Switch folks out there.
That's awesome, Rob. You might want to keep your mouth shut until after this next question. Okay. All right, Taylor, this one's for you. This could make screen time a positive. Using games for financial incentive. From Roblox to Twitch, they made a strong pitch. It's JDRF Game 2.
Wait, what? Can you read it again?
Sure. This could make screen time a positive. Using games for financial incentive. From Roblox to Twitch, they made a strong pitch. It's JDRF Game 2. Rob just said it.
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't catch the word that fast.
I should never have opened my big mouth.
No, I'm so glad. I shouldn't have made such a big deal about it. I guess it went by quickly. Taylor, it's Game to Give.
Oh, Game to Give. Okay.
I'm like, oh my God, are my rhymes not that great? Awesome. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's Game to Give. So Rob, this is such a nice initiative. And I think it's really funny that I had to rhyme something with Switch and Twitch. Because in gaming, they apparently like that kind of ending sound. But Game to Give, tell me a little bit more if you can. You're gonna be working with them on this.
Yeah. So one of the folks that works on the Game to Give platform with JDRF reached out the other day, and we were kind of talking about some gaming stuff, and some Web3 and metaverse has been very top of mind, and gaming is a huge part of that. And I think the deal, we don't have the date locked in yet, but sometime in June, we're going to do a Mario Party stream,
nice.
and I'm going to join the Game to Give folks. And so put it out, the call out to the community, come play me in Mario Party. If you want the smoke, I will run it for you on that Mario Party.
Rob, you
So
already know
come
I'm
on.
accepting that challenge. You already know I'm accepting that challenge.
I love it.
Let's
I'm
do
ready.
it.
Mark and I are going to play Galaga, and we are going to cream you all in a stand-up arcade action.
I love it. I would
Super
watch
Mario Brothers, Stacy. And Legend of Zelda. Those are my games.
Wow, I really am older than everybody here. Okay. All right. Yes. I do love it though. I do have my Atari 2600. We have to see if it works.
Ooh, fun.
My mom got it. Like, she was like, "Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, hold on to that.
Yeah, you got to keep the vintage game systems for sure.
All right, our winner is Rob. No surprise there. If you were keeping score at home,
Fine, I'll be happy for you. I'll make my
Yeah.
revenge in Mario.
Okay.
But really, we are all winners here just by being part of this. But before we go, I do want to ask if we could kind of go around the horn one more time and just tell us where we can find you. Hopefully we can link up your websites and your podcasts. But if there's anything else you want to mention one more time, Mark, let me start with you again. The book is Diabetes Sucks, and you can handle it.
Diabetes Sucks and You Can Handle It. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find me on my website, www.thediabetespsychologist.com, or on any podcast app or platform with the Diabetes Psychologist podcast.
That is so great. I love it. And congratulations to you, and best of luck with the book. Rob, you didn't mention this earlier. You kind of talked about media, but you just started a zine, like just diabetes, I wouldn't call it a blog, right? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's really like a magazine. It's downloadable. One of the things we wanted to focus on at Diabetics Doing Things this year was getting other creators with diabetes involved in what we were doing and giving them opportunities to tell deeper stories, to accompany our podcast. So we did that. I think we had 12 people with diabetes from all over the United States working on the zine. There's photos, beautiful layouts and design, and words, images, and concepts, all by people with diabetes. So a really cool project, and we're continuing to evolve what that looks like. So diabeticsdoingthings.com, Google Rob Howe Diabetes, you'll find me. I've been on all three of you guys' shows, or vice versa. You guys have been on mine. So thank you guys, obviously, for being here today. And just continuing to trying to find ways to innovate for people with diabetes and create opportunities for us to be seen and normalize what we go through on a day-to-day basis.
I love it. Taylor, how about you?
Yeah, so you can find me pretty much everywhere, it feels. What social media app isn't out there, but at Healing in Hindsight. My website is healinginhindsight.com, and be sure especially to follow me on Instagram, because I am launching an accessories line in the fall, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully it will be something great for everyone who lives with diabetes and can have something cool to wear around. So
love it. Can you give us like a sneak peek a little bit more about it? Or
I felt the need that medical bracelets, pins, keychains, wearables, they were very catered to one demographic, and there were not a lot of color options, things like that. So I wanted some gender neutral stuff that you would feel proud to wear, that looks fashionable, but also gave vital information if for some reason you're around people who don't know that you have. I haven't worn a medical bracelet in years, and I actually thought to myself, because of my partner, if something were to happen to me and he wasn't around, would anybody know? Could anybody help me? So I've been working really hard on, getting some really cool pieces together that people feel proud to wear, even though I know that having diabetes is not a disease we want to be proud of having, but it's important that people know in case we're put in a situation where we can't advocate for ourselves. So, but I wanted them to look nice, because y'all see the medical bracelets, they ugly. So
that's a big barrier for a lot of people to wear them. So that's great. Yeah, definitely keep us posted. Absolutely. And you can find me at diabetes-connections.com. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. I've been doing the show since 2015, and we're coming up on episode 500 in August. So I need, so I don't know what to do for that. We're going to throw some confetti out of your earbuds or something. but I'm really excited about that, which is kooky. But thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this wonderful conference. I hope we gave you some laughs, but maybe gave you some information and some fun stuff to think about as well. And that'll do it for us. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.